Hello. How are we? We're just gonna wait for everyone to join in, and then we'll start the stream once we're all settled. But how are we tonight? If you've done anything cool, let me know in the chat. You know. Just testing a few things. Just testing a few things. Thank you very much, Barry. So today, seeing as Robot isn't able to join us, I figured sounds of stupidity. Oh no. Oh no. They see through my disguise. Um yeah, seeing as Ian can't. All right. You want me to have a thick accent? Um Seeing as Robot is not here, I figured it's a perfect opportunity to read one of her books, as it would be strange if she read her books out loud, but I can read them. So we're going to read the start of Boom Boom Boom, um, and obviously, if you like the book, if you enjoy what you're hearing in this sort of little preview of it, um, yeah, obviously buy the book. I've got links down in the description for how you can support her. Um, and yeah, so I'll wait about 8 more minutes, so on the hour, and then we'll start reading. That gives people time to join because uh, it's a different channel, etc. So yeah, some people may have forgotten. Please make my accent French. I can't do a French accent. I'm sorry. I don't know how. I can do some accents, but not French. Well, Barry, I don't have a strong accent like other Australians. So yeah, yeah, French is a hard accent. I have a friend who's French. Jack of Hearts 22. I know that Robot just did that review of Jack of Hearts 22. Oh, well, not 22. She didn't review you. Um, but the book Jack of Hearts. Um, is that just a coincidental name, or is there something to that? Yeah, the only French I know is omelette du fromage, and that's from Dexter's Laboratory. which most of you are probably too young to know the joke. All right, let's settle in and get cozy. So for those who are new here, I don't think anyone is, but those who are new here, this is just a book clubby sort of thing where we read books and discuss them in the chat together. So feel free to leave your comments and thoughts, etc., in the chat. And you know, we're all friends. We're all you know here because we either like to read or like to write. Abraham gets the joke. Say it again. Omelette du fromage. But yeah, we're all just here to have fun, enjoy a book. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you do like it, you do like it. Say why, be constructive, and you know, we'll have some fun along the way. So we'll start reading in about 5 minutes, just on the hour. That way, you know, it's just, yeah, easy. I'm streaming live from an undisclosed location. It's from my bunker. Hey, Raynor, we're not really roasting it. That's just a joke because this is the loin stream, so we're roasting loins. We're just going to read the book, and if you like things, you say that you like them, and if you don't like them, you say you don't like them and why. And then us as writers and readers, etc., can learn a little bit of different people's perspectives on things and hopefully use those in our future works, etc., to become better at what we do. But obviously, feel free to make memes and make jokes, etc. You know. That's all good. There will be a VOD of this. I don't delete my streams. So unless unless Ian tells me not to, there will be a VOD of this. In Outback Steakhouse. I hate to break your heart, buddy, but Outback Steakhouse is not an Australian thing. Sorry. We actually look down on it here and joke about it because it's just so absurd. Yes, really. Yeah, I'm gonna be the one to do it, and this is what's gonna send your government after me. But Outback Steakhouse is just a marketing trick to convince you guys to buy food under the guise that it is Australian, when none of it is Australian. or even remotely close to what we eat here. There, I said it. So if this stream ends abruptly, you know why. Big steakhouse gonna come after me. Okay, it is officially on the hour. Well, it's not Australian, so you were right the first time. It's officially on the hour. So let's start the book. Now, the book opens with a picture of a YouTube video looking thing called Don't Blink or You'll Miss It, number 37. And it's by XD. It's had 29 views and 5 subscribers. And the description reads, I have been experimenting with some easy to find ingredients: petrol, ammonium, nitrate, nitroglycerin, acetone peroxide, nitrocellulose, gunpowder, dish soap. There are so many combustible things around us all the time, you would be surprised by what you can find in your home or grocery store. Although petrol is easy enough, unless it's too cold and you're running low on oil for the heater or the power is out, then it feels like there is never enough anywhere. Lol. I always have extra petrol around though, but when in doubt, a nice boom and a little excitement will do a lot to keep you warm. Trust me, I'm always surprised by what different compositions can do. I'm not going to tell you what's in today's video. I want to see you guess. Tell me in the comments if you think you know what I used to get this reaction. Looking forward to hearing from you. Boom, boom, boom. Salute. So that is sort of how this book opens up just before chapter 1. So, chapter 1. I take the cereal box out of the shipping container. Frigid Flakes. It's a dark blue box with a person wearing a light blue parka pulled over their head, covering all of their features. Their skin is pale and their beady black eyes stare out from the hood opening. The person holds a fishing rod in one hand and a spoon in the other. A box of the cereal hangs from the person's hook. These are supposed to be dusted in white sugar, but every time I've opened a box of them, they are more than gently dusted with something not right. Coated is more accurate, and the coating doesn't smell sweet. It's not sugar, but at least it's not arsenic. Not bitter enough. Maybe it's a little bit of dirt mixed with something else. Coal dust cut with sugar and flour, because the factory that makes them ran out of the proper ingredients and couldn't afford more. It doesn't matter. The dust comes off when the flakes are drenched in milk or water, but that's when you notice the little black specks floating in the mix. The flakes retain their crunch regardless of how long they've been sitting in the milk. I still don't know what the black stuff is, but I've found it in every box I've ever had. I turn the box over. The off-shelf date was 4 months ago. This is one of the freshest boxes I've seen in my store. I pull the other boxes off the shelf and stick this one in the back, then restack the boxes on the shelf. When I'm done, it still looks half empty, but that's normal. Scarcity creates desire, Boris says. Desire creates sales. I'm not sure if that's true, but Boris is my boss, and when I'm on the clock, I'm at work, and when I'm at work, I'm doing what he says. That was the agreement I made. I flip the empty cardboard box over. I quickly slit with my pocket knife, and the box collapses flat. I tuck it under my arm, exit the aisle, and walk through the store. My steps are quiet. There's no sound in the shop. No one else is in the store. My right ear rings softly, but after a couple of seconds it gets louder until I wince, and then it sinks back to a soft buzz. I tuck my thumbnail into my teeth, looking for debris from last night. There's only a little bit of gunpowder, but it's enough to be soothing. I hum softly to tame the buzzing in my ear. My head bobs off beat to the sound. I stop next to an end cap, peeking down the aisle to find an empty spot. My voice cracks, interrupting the tune. I clear my throat, then start humming again. There's never any music playing during the night. Boris turns it off before even the last customer leaves because they won't notice there's no music when they're talking to the cashier. If they notice there's no music, someone's not doing their job. He says it's better to turn off the music a couple of minutes before closing anyway. You don't want people coming in when you're getting ready to close, and music makes people feel welcome. At 5 till 7, customers are not welcome anymore. Then he says, since I know music makes people comfortable, you can't have it at night. Music doesn't stock shelves. It puts you to sleep in the back room. Scarcity makes desire, yes? But scant makes desperation, and satisfaction makes you lazy. Only half of the store lights are on to save power, and even the heater is allowed to go cold. My fingers are ice when they touch my lips. I hold them here for a moment longer just to breathe on them. Then I keep walking. While scarcity is normal in the store, it's still hard to tell where the right empty spots are in the dark. Finally, I spot a hole in the aisle for soup cans. I return to the back room to grab another box from shipping. The loading room smells of smoke and bits of it catch in the light. I toss the compressed box I have into the stack of broken down boxes by the back wall. The storage room is even colder than the storefront and has even fewer lights on. 2, one over the trash and one over the small shipping area to read box labels. Outside the windows, the world is nothing more than a void eaten by the light. There are no lights outside the back of the store. Well, none that work. There had been one right outside the door, but the bulb died 6 months ago, and Boris isn't interested in changing it. No one uses the back door at night anyway, and by the time you leave, you're going out the front when morning shift set gets in. We're not wasting the labor costs on something that won't change the work, Boris says. He's very practical like that. If it's not something that will affect the store's income in a positive manner or the productivity of the staff, he doesn't want to spend money on it. Papa is also very practical, and so is Alex, calculating possibilities, the future investments, harm. It's why Alex is in Sumi right now, and I'm still in need. I'm probably pronouncing those so wrong, guys. Just saying. I am probably pronouncing those incredibly wrong. There is no extraordinary future for me in need. It's nowhere. But I like this sort of quiet. Thinking about tomorrow or next week or next month is pointless when there's so much going on in front of me all the time. It might not seem like a lot, but when I'm standing in a grocery store at 2 a.m. stocking shelves, but there is a lot to consider in what you can do with nothing. I look over the stack of boxes, reading over the marker messages on the side to discover their contents. I turn around to assess the room. I know I will not find any other boxes. Everything we have is stacked in this corner. But I still survey, thinking about the box I'm looking for got lost somewhere. Simon squats in the dark corner of the back room. His cell phone screen lights up his face while the red end of a cigarette ignites when he inhales. Yeah, guys, I've worked this job before, so it's like, yep. Simon, have you seen the soup? I say. He doesn't answer. He doesn't move. He doesn't even pretend to see me. The cans are looking scant, Simon. I look over the boxes again, getting closer this time. I take out my cell phone and flick on the light. It's not until the 4th time I go over the same box on the right that it registers in my head. That's what I'm looking for. Found it, I say. Thanks. I slip my phone away and grab the box. The end of Simon's cigarette lights up again. Be careful with that, I say. Could blow up any moment. That's what hot stuff tends to do, you know, like me. I pause in front of the door that leads back to the storefront to see if Simon's going to say anything, but the pause isn't long when I know he won't. I could go on for hours about fire and explosions and which element combinations will lead to the quickest heat building up, leading to the biggest explosion, but he wouldn't say anything. I could tell him about the minute scent of petrol that if you pay close attention to, you'll smell in the back room. Something like dirt and lots of water and even mild scent of vegetable, like in vegetable oil. If you smell that, there's a little bit of spilled gas, but not enough to be a gas leak yet, and you should be careful putting out your cigarette on the floor. I've tried sharing my hobby with him before, but he's never paid me much mind. Even when I was mixing nitromethane with erythritol or a little bit of gunpowder, he wasn't interested in the outcome. I know the camera never really captures the explosions well, but on that one you can still see the green ring if you look really close at the smoke before it goes boom. That's the worst part about what I do. Everything is a one-shot. If you want to see what you've made, you have to pay attention. But in the moment, and if you're not, you'll miss everything beautiful. I return to the storefront and walk down the aisles until I've reached the soup. There are only 10 cans. The box I'm holding has gotten much heavier by the time I put it down. The cans rattle against each other from how the box slips out of my grip. I look around to see if anyone's there, but it's just me. Working at night will do that. Sometimes every small sound in the shop could be a stray cat, or a rat, or a ghost. I'm sure there are ghosts in this store for how long it's been standing. In fact, I'm most certain one of the previous employees haunts this place. Thinking about it, I touch the back of my neck. Chilly air sneaks under the metal loading plate. The cold moves across the cement and comes up through the bottom of my boots and wool socks, chilling my toes next. Cold air can be a vicious beast, you know, pulling at your ears until they sting, deepening the color of your face without pause and nipping at every bit of skin, regardless of whether you're wearing a jacket or not. Actually, sometimes the cold is meaner if you're wearing a jacket and it plucks through the cotton like tiny needles digging for your bones. I empty the box, crush it, and bring it back to the pile by the door. I forgot to look at the shelves before coming back in, so I'm not sure what I need to grab next. I stop at the exit with my foot in the door. Simon's phone still lights his face in the corner. The red dot at the end of his finger seems brighter. "Did you see?" I say, but stop. Simon flicks his finger over the screen and the color of the videos he's watching reflect in his eyes. I smile toothily. My tongue runs over the bottom of my lip. Then I bring my fingers to my mouth, checking under my fingernail with the edge of my tooth again, looking for anything left behind. When I'm done with that finger, I move on to the next one. I hope he's watching my latest video. It capped at 29 views the last time I checked it. That's the best one of my videos has ever done. Soon enough, everyone in need will have seen my work. I'm waiting for the day when Simon admits to watching them, and then he will say, "This is impressive, how did you do it?" And I will say, "You think so? This is one of my favorites, honestly." And Simon might be a little starstruck, as people tend to be in front of celebrities, so he will not be sure if he can even say yes, but after a moment he will say, "Let me buy you a drink, friend. Then you can tell me all of the details." With a smack on my back, Simon will laugh, I will laugh, and then I'll say, "I will do better than that. I will show you." That day will be the day everyone in town cannot stop talking about me. I will find a never-ending stream of people proud to say my name. That is my neighbor, Jean. I went to school with him. I thought about dating him once. I will think about it a second and third time. My name will just feel so good in their mouths. The best part of it will be when I come home and Papa finally sees me. He will wrap his arms around me and pull me in tight and say, "I heard that Simon spoke with you about one of your videos. I watched it too. I'm so proud. I cannot believe you are my son. Let me take you to work and show you off." I stay in the doorway waiting for Simon to look up from his screen, but he still hasn't. I clear my throat. He still doesn't look up. I say, "What are you watching, Simon?" and lean forward. Simon still says nothing. "Must be something good," I say. Simon mashes a cigarette butt into the cement floor, then leaves it there. He slips his phone into his pocket and steps out of the dark corner. His feet drag, making a sound as they move across the floor. He walks past me and into the single toilet bathroom besides Boris's office. He leaves the door open and light off. Seconds later, he's pissing. He comes back out while the toilet's still flushing, then squats back in the corner. He takes his phone out, picks up his cigarette. The end lights up weakly as he sucks it in. "You know, Simon," I'm going to blow up someday. I know, Simon finally says without looking up at me. Make it sooner rather than later, yeah? I laugh and rub the back of my neck as I return to the floor. I know my shift is ending when the sky gains some color again. The sun isn't up yet, but it's peeking over the horizon. It won't be long before the sky is bright, so I have only a limited amount of time to shoot my next video. As the clock winds down, I'm antsy, pacing aimlessly down the store aisles. I wait for Boris to get here to unlock the door and dismiss us. The key jingles the lock, the door pushes open. Good morning, Boris, I say. What did Simon do tonight? Boris says. He watched me well, I say. Boris grumbles, then says, good night. Simon says nothing. I put on my parka and leave the store. Paulina, my Vespa, waits for me in the parking lot. I sit on her, phone in hand. I check the stats on my newest video. It's up to 33 views. I trade my phone for my Vespa key. Did you see that, Paulina? I ask. We're nearly going viral. She growls meekly as I press my foot to the gas. We speed off. She knows we have work to do. It's a 30-minute drive from the grocery store to my usual spot, and I have to walk another 10 minutes off a trail to get to the clearing in the trees, where I like to shoot. I park Paulina off the side of the road, tucked behind a couple of bushes. I pull my bag over my shoulders and pick up the collapsible tripod from under my seat. Most of the snow around my blasting spot is gone, and all that's left underneath is the dirty ground, darkened by more than a couple rounds of explosives. There are no trees left very close to the blasting site. I chopped a couple down to avoid lighting them on fire. That happened once. I set my backpack down in the blasting spot. It acts as a dummy while I walk around with the tripod. I usually place it in the same spot, looking to make the shot symmetrical with trees in the background framing, where I'll sit. I know the trees don't move, but still, sometimes they look like they're in a different place. I extend the tripod legs as much as I can, then clip my phone to the mount. I access my phone's camera and use that to find the correct frame. Orange lights up behind the trees like its own small explosion. Through the camera lens, the warmed colored lines streak through the purple, pinks, and blues of twilight. I like the trees on the east side, behind the back of the camera better. I don't dislike the summer for the shorter nights, because it is much harder to create explosives in complete darkness. But the added daylight makes it harder to make a video that stands out like it should. My ears ringing again. I dip my head to the side and shake it a little in an attempt to get rid of the sound. The ringing caused me to wince. I take extra steps to make the snow crunch under my boot, letting the sound be the extra lullaby to put the ringing to sleep again, at least for a little while. The ringing subsides. I return to my bag and sit on the ground beside it. I shuffle through a couple of bottles marked with numbers, instructions, and shorthand names for what's inside. As much as I would like to just sit and experiment on the spot, I don't have the time. The sun is my clock, and when time is short, I cannot play around and shoot. If it weren't for the 33 views on my newest video, maybe I could have played around tonight, but with momentum like that, I know I need new content. If someone left a comment on one of my videos, it would be the greatest thing ever. Even my best friend has never left a comment on my channel. Honestly, I do not think he even watches at all. The last time we spoke of it, he said, "John, it's dangerous. What is the purpose even? Come to sue me. There are many jobs here you can have." And when I asked him if there was room for this sort of thing in Sumi, he said, "You probably do not want to set off bombs in Sumi." "Then why would I want to go there?" I said. To get out of nowhere. My chest is tight and my heart pounding as I place each jar of ingredients on the ground. I flop onto my butt with the first jar in hand. I've seen this video, it doesn't end well. I flop onto my butt with the first jar in hand. I unscrew the lid. I don't have to bring it to my nose to catch the strong smell. It burns the outside of my nose. The dryness of the air doesn't help. I lid the jar again. Did you know that the smell of something can tell you how big the explosion will be? Sometimes it can even tell you what color it will be. Though, chemicals don't actually talk to you. If you close your eyes and smell the compound, the colors will light up behind your eyelids, and you can almost see a small cloud like you're playing an explosion before it happens. If it's hard to see from the smell, then you dip your finger in and press that little bit to your tongue. You should definitely see something. You just have to be careful with the compounds. Too much of some of them and you'll burn your tongue. The last time I did that was a couple of years ago. I don't remember the name of the compound, but I could tell you immediately from the smell of it. If you put it in front of me. Back then, I got too much on my finger. I wiped it on my tongue and I couldn't taste anything on that side of my mouth for 13 months. The contents of my bag are laid out on the blasting spot. 3 jars with compounds, a box of matches, and a roll of twine. I pick up my bag and take it over to the tripod. I check the clock on my phone, then the battery. Only 30% left. That should be enough. From the front pocket of my bag, I would draw a pair of thick, round goggles. The lenses look copper on the outside and dim the light from the inside. Explosions may not be as true through them, but they also protect me from blindness at least. I put in a couple of earplugs. My goggles slide over my short wavy hair, flattening it to my crown. I then trade my winter gloves for a protective glove. Before I put it on one hand, I tap the record button on my phone. Once the light confirms I'm rolling, I step back and wave. Hello, boomers. I keep stepping back, glancing over my shoulder a moment to check my blasting sight. My attention doesn't stray too long from the camera though. My name is Jananana. How are you feeling this morning? I'm good, thank you. Do you know why? It is because I have been thinking of that last blast we did together, number 37, yeah? I did like the green that came in the smoke. Watch the video again in slow motion. There's a green tint to the smoke and along the outer edge of the blast, like it's radioactive. Though I wish there had been a little more glow. I think I'd put a little bit more of ingredient 2 in. There might have been more. I stop walking when there's dirt under my feet instead of snow. I know you're wondering about the ingredients, but I can't tell you, sorry. Even if I say this is for educational purposes only, I do not think that it is seen as a good enough reason to share for certain people, then. I lean in, pressing my fingers to the side of my lips. People might come looking for me, talking to me, asking how I got certain things. Then less certain people know about me, for the better. I wink, turn to my gear on the ground, pause, turn back to the camera. Not you, though. I look up to the sky. The orange and yellow are spreading further into the purple and pink, devouring the night sky too eagerly. Sorry, today's show might be a little harder to see. I took a little longer getting here this morning. My legs are stiff. I laugh. I'm tired, but I have been waiting all day to do this with you. I just wish it was a little darker, you know? But let's get started anyway, before it gets worse. I pull my goggles over my eyes, sit down on the ground, and open each jar. The smell of the chemicals is easy to pick up immediately. It's almost overwhelming, just being so close. Every bit of mild aroma fills my nose before I can even pick a jar up. The base jar has clear liquid in it, maybe 1/3 of the way full. I pick it up and move it to the front and center of me. The next jar I hold is tin and has a dark powder in it. Without much light, the powder might look black, but it's really a kind of purple-blue thing when in direct light. I sniff it first, then I lick the tip of my finger and stick it in the dust. Gently, I rub the crystals off on my tongue. I wait as saliva mixes with the powder. My throat constricts a little. I swish my tongue around. It glides along my lower lip, leaving a slight tingle in its wake. My eyes flutter, closed, and as the burn soaks in, I gently rock back and forth. I pinch some of the purple dust with my gloved hand and sprinkle it into the clean liquid jar. At first touch, each purple crystal causes the clear liquid to bubble and heat. Fumes raise from the jar as it gets warmer. I slowly sprinkle in another pinch, then swirl the jar around. The liquid turns darker and opaque, but not totally so. I put the lid on the purple dust, reach for the next jar. Should be a bottle. Pause. A laugh comes out. Sorry, I knock myself in the head with my palm. Forgot the palate cleanser. I go back to my bag, With the purple dust jar in hand, I trade it for a bottle of homemade spotikach, vodka, spice, and rowan berries. I take the cap off and take a swig, while walking back to my blast site. My lips are pressed to the bottle before I'm even sitting again. My mouth comes away with a loud pop. I know, right? Just tasting some bombs. Why not? I wonder what bombs taste like. It's a good break, I sigh. You know, if you don't clean the palate between ingredients, it can be harder to tell what you're looking at exactly. I take a quick shot. The blueberry silences the soft tingle that had still been on my tongue. I put my finger up just so the audience will know to give me a moment. I wipe my mouth with the back of my arm. It's not impossible, but it can be harder, more surprising when you light up, you know? And that's not always a good thing when you're dealing with chemicals. It's like going to make bread, but instead of using flour, you use lots of baking soda. You don't know what's going to come out of your oven. All you know is that you don't want to eat it. Granted, I would be surprised if the oven didn't blow up when you put in a loaf of baking soda in it. I laugh again. The bottle comes to my lips to silence me. I'm a little more lightheaded, a little warm, a little snappy. It's not the alcohol, it's the morning vibrations of the coming boom. I set the bottle down and exchange it for a new jar. The lid's on the ground. There's a kind of yellow goo inside. I tip the jar to show off its thickness. You know what this is? I look through the jar at the camera. I lower it. My lips pull into a wider smile. I shake my head. Can't tell you. Sorry, I could get in moderate trouble if a certain person found out I had this and where I got it from. But I will tell you, I found it a couple days ago, and the second I had it, I wondered what it would look like if I put it into this solution. It has a very nice burn to it. Even just putting my fingers in it, I slide my fingers into the jar. My nails barely touch the top of the liquid, but the heat pulses all the way to my palm. Blood rushes through my left arm, quick to the elbow, like tickling under the skin, then to my head. My chest is tight, but my heart races. You know that feeling you get when something is strong and big and threatening? It's like someone walking into the bar, tapping you hard on the shoulder and saying, "Let's go outside and fight," right before they punch you. That's what this feels like. I dip my fingers into the goo. It doesn't stick as easily as the crystal powder, but a little bit sticks to the tip of my fingers. I bend my fingers to scoop it. Still, it falls off, leaving minor amount of residue behind. I stick my fingers in my mouth. My tongue is quickly covered by a fuzzy, soft burn. I close my eyes, reaching for my bottle of vodka as the heat escalates. My lips smack my throat drier than before, getting a little light. Yeah, the word comes out more like a cough. The two of them together. I bring my bottle to my lips, a fast drink. I swish it around before swallowing. It's going to be something nice. The blue and yellow. What we want is something unique, yeah? I withdraw a small metal spoon out of my pocket and dip it into the yellow goo. The edge carves out some of the element and holds onto it. I set the yellow goo jar down and bring my attention to the main solution jar. Slower, I lower the spoon into the liquid mixture, letting it taste the yellow goo bit by bit. I know, I'm going a little slow, but you need to know. If you get too excited, too impatient, and move too fast, things get tricky. You overfeed a combustible solution, its heat gets hot fast, and when it gets hot fast, it explodes too fast. And no one likes getting hot and exploding too fast in any situation that I know. It's definitely not a good time here. Maybe I'll show you what I mean sometime. Hello, welcome. We're still in chapter 1. John, the main character, has finished his night shift stacking shelves at the supermarket and is now off in the woods making an explosion. He makes the explosions by tasting all of the ingredients first. That is where we are at. Sip of tea. I have remnants of that memory as blotchy red scars down my left arm and thigh. It's a good thing I like to wear sweaters because I never want my mama to worry, and I think if she saw some of those blotches, she would very much worry. She thinks I'm going to get hurt doing this. Everyone does, but I know what I'm doing. The more I feed the spoon into the purple liquid, the thicker the goo becomes until there's nothing left to give. I withdraw the spoon from the jar and wipe it on my pants. I slip the spoon back into my pocket, grab my vodka, and take a swig. My eyes land on the camera. The bottle's in the air. I smile into it. The best companion for an explosion is a kiss. Our lips part with a loud pop. Are you ready for this? It's going to come fast. Don't blink. I take out my pocket knife and use it to cut a hole in the jar lid. I return all of the remaining ingredients to my bag so they can't catch on what's coming. My tongue smacks against my lips again. It's still burning from the little bit of yellow goo I tasted. I take another sip of vodka. I turn on my toes. It's definitely the snow under the ice that's making me walk a little less straight than I mean to. Back at the jar, I sit on my legs and tuck a line of twine through the hole in the lid. Now, you don't want to close the jar too early. You might not feel it when you are, but the jar is warm in my hands and it's making a lot of fumes already. If you cover the opening for too long, the heat will build up faster, the air thicker and fuller, and it will blast, probably while you're still holding it. Then you could lose your hands and it becomes a bloody mess, and we don't really want that, but we're ready now. Hang on, guys. YouTube's being stupid. Sorry, guys. Okay. Once standing, I twist the jar lid on. I grab the box of matches from the ground next and pull one out. On the count of 3, Odin, Vartil. I drag the match across the emery and toss the lit match down on the twine. The jar's fuse lights. I'm running fast to take cover behind the nearby rocks. My hand grips the vodka bottle's neck hard. I lean out from behind my tree to watch the flame eat the wick. It climbs into the bottle and warms the darkened liquid. The fuse disappears into the purple mixture and goes darker, deeper. Instantly, the jar fills with black fumes. A spark of orange cracks through the darkness like a bolt of lightning, and in the next second, boom. The glass jar explodes into a cloud. First it's black, then purple. Then it combusts into a bright orange-red flash that leaves more purple clouds in the sky rapidly. The clouds have a glow around them. Maybe it's just the sun, maybe they're catching and reflecting the sun's beams, but the rising purple clouds glow against the sky and the snow. My ears ring. The right ear is still worse than the left. A roar from the initial explosion rolls through the trees, echoes through the sky, and comes back at me like a cloud rolling thunder. Oh, is there a connection thing? Alright, let's have a look at this. What is going on? Sorry guys, I'm just checking it on my end. Just in case it's me, but everything seems to be okay on the back end. I did notice it was being a little silly before. From behind.